Hi, I'm Miles.
And I'm Marika.
And this is I Don't Know What I'm Doing.
Because we don't. Hey guys.
Hi, guys. Episode 36.
Oh my god.
How did it happen? Our podcast could run for president. I Don't Know What I'm Doing 2020. She's running. She is
Wait, why is it on he?
The podcast?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I guess it's both.
Or fluid gender.
Yeah, Zur is running.
Wait, is that what that is? Like Zer? Like
There's like Zur and like G is another one.
I like Zer.
Yeah, or like Z.
It sounds like Zurg. Like from
Toy Story?
Yeah.
Okay, I can't believe I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
Every week we open with our fails of the week.
Yep.
And Marika, you should go first because I've gone first a lot lately.
Okay, great. Because this is... So I have not been listening to our episodes at all. Like the past, 4.
What?
I don't know what it is because I really like listening to NPR a lot. Mm-hmm. It's very comforting to me in these really troubling times politically. So I just like listening to that in the morning. And then going home, I like to listen to like My Favorite Murder music and...
What about when you're doing dishes or like cooking?
Yeah, I don't really cook or do dishes. So yeah, I don't know. I just am in a phase where I don't want to hear my own voice right now.
So I should edit an episode just for you that's just me cutting out all the Marika parts.
Ooh, no. No. Yeah, so basically, like, we're, like, ahead of the game with our episodes, like, right?
We're, like, 1 week ahead.
So, I misspoke about what the theme was, put that in my Insta story, okay? And also did a post about it in our Instagram account. So.
Yeah, you plugged the episode that's not even out yet. And then I saw that at work, and I was, like, super stressed on Friday, and probably mean to Marika, but I was just like, I deleted it because it was wrong.
Oh. That's so funny that you thought that voice in your head, but the way I read it was like, hey, I just deleted that because of blah. Like, oops. Like, that's how I read that.
But then Marika was like, what is our episode? And I was like, check iTunes.
That was the That's what you were missing. I thought I was like more truthful and been like, I clearly am not paying attention, and I did not think I needed to look at iTunes.
I was like, Marika has one job.
I know that's what you're thinking. I knew that's what you're thinking. Like, Marika has like one job and she's slacking so hard. Yeah, guys, I'm really sorry. Anyways, what else?
So, I guess my fail is like, work has just been a lot, and usually I just like put on a good face and I'm like, here we go. The best kind of work's gonna happen when you're like believing it can happen. But like, we have this one client where we have been briefed. So, okay, in advertising, you have a brief and that tells you like, what's the strategy for this assignment? What does the client want? What are we doing here? Like, what am I gonna make creative work around?
Right.
You know, and usually like those briefs change a little bit every time. Like this time we want to talk about like grilling in the fall, and it's different. So every time you have something different to work against. This one brand, it's been the same for 5 briefs in a row. So we are getting very frustrated. Our morale is low. We're just like, we have nothing more to give. We've given you every idea we can, and for some reason, they're not going through. So Friday, I was just like very discouraged at the end of the day, and my mom was also texting me because she wanted me to go to IKEA at 10 a.m. on Saturday for 2 hours, and she couldn't drive me back to the city.
What?
And I was like, this is the stupidest plan. So anyway, Friday, my mom's like, I need to know ASAP about this IKEA thing, and then my work is like, we gotta solve this thing that you've been trying to solve for 9 months.
Oh.
And I just kind of like, it was like Friday, 4 p.m. and I was like, I started to like shut down a little bit. I was like, and usually at work I'm like positive, but and usually I don't like tell people what I'm
what's happening to you?
feeling, but I was like, I'm just really stressed out right now. I was like, I'm stressed.
Who are you telling this to?
I was telling it to like my coworkers because we were all like working on it in like a room together, and I was like, grabbed my partner. I was like, can we go to another room because it's too loud in this room and I'm stressed out.
Oh my God.
And they were like, is Miles okay? And I was like, no. I was like, the work mask has fallen off, and these are what I'm really feeling.
The work mask.
This is real.
Oh, my work mask off months ago. Months ago.
So then I went home. I was supposed to go. I had 2 different things I could do on Friday.
Uh-huh.
There was like a Korean movie playing at the center where I take Korean.
Yeah.
And then my other friend was like, hey, do you want to go to this like fundraiser with like some of our friends? Mm-hmm. But you have to like, can you get there by 6? Mm-hmm. And I was like still at work at 5:30. I was like, no. Uh-huh. It's like 6:25. He's like, are you coming? And meanwhile, I'm like sitting in the dark on my bed eating tortilla chips, listening to music and going through my phone. And I was like, I just need to do this. I did that for like an hour. I think an hour. I just ate chips on my bed in the dark.
Okay, like what is with you and tortilla chips? Like what?
It is a comfort food now that I'm older. It's a comfort food. I never had a comfort food much before. So life got real and Miles snapped.
Anyways, our theme, guys.
Yeah, I don't know how to money. It may look like I do, and it may look like Marika doesn't, but we both don't.
Shut up. Okay, first of all, I knew how to money before you did, meaning investments.
Oh yeah, this is not a contest. I had to convince Marika to do this episode because she was like, you don't even qualify to do this episode, and I was like, I do.
Because Miles is really good at budgeting. Obviously, you bought it, his savings, like a house, like a place to live.
Right.
So he doesn't qualify to be in this fail. Yeah.
I do.
I mean, you could be the expert, I guess, or something.
No, I'm not an expert, and I wouldn't even call what I do budgeting.
But it is, though. And it's like...
To me, a budget is like a formal piece of paper where you're like, here are my fixed expenses, and here are my unfixed expenses.
Yeah,
and like, every month I like count it up. Don't do that shit.
Oh, okay.
I don't.
But you don't live outside your means.
I just say no to everything.
That's a form of budgeting, though.
Yeah, sure.
It is.
Yeah. I think it's more like, our friend like Shireen has a thing where she's like, when I go to a restaurant, I don't spend more than $20. And she's she's like, and that limit means like I don't get alcohol when I go out typically because that's always gonna up it. Like, it's like more like you have little rules.
Right.
Little limits.
You know what my limit was? Living my best life. With my best friend eating pho, watching Netflix, eating sushi, watching Netflix.
What's pho?
Pho, sorry. All right. Ordering all the Grubhubs in the world. So
Grubhub
that
was
was
just a way for the price to go even higher, though.
I know.
Like,
but it's wonderful. Oh, God. It's just...
I feel like you guys should have found...
best.
You two should have found a place, like, in Jamie's neighborhood that had, like, pickup. That would have been the way to do it.
Miles, do you hear yourself?
Yes!
Do you know me and Jamie?
I mean, I am just, like, hoping for the best versions of you that could, like, walk 2 blocks and pick it up for free.
Jamie, do you hear this? Like, that is insane. It's like when Zachary asked if we had a cheese grater at our apartment, like on Marshfield, and I'm like, what do you think this is, Taj Mahal? Like...
I'm so glad we're in our 30s now and people own irons and cheese graters. Do you know how many times in my 20s when, like, I had to come into Chicago for interviews and, like, stay with people, and I was like, do you own an iron? They were like, hell no! And then I just had, like, wrinkly clothes to wear to an interview, and I was like, what the fuck? People should have irons! Or at least a steamer.
Irons are way better than steamers.
Oh, thank you.
Anyways, so
I think we should take it back to the beginning.
Yeah. Which is...
What is your emotional relationship with money?
Ooh.
And maybe where does that come from?
I don't really know. I mean, money makes me really happy.
When you spend it or have it?
Both. I like living barely within my means. Because I remember this one time, I was, like, done with Columbia.
That would be Columbia College Chicago.
Columbia College Chicago. So I was done with Columbia, and I'm, like, waiting tables, and I was living with Isaac. And then, for some reason, like, I looked at my fucking account, and I had, like, 76 cents in my checking account. And I'm like, fuck. Like,
and how much in savings?
Like, probably, like, 0. Let me see. I know I took a screenshot of it.
You had 76 cents to your name.
Yep. I'm sorry. 85 cents to my name.
I love how you, like, resisted to do the money episode, but yet you have a screenshot of your account, which is the perfect thing.
I had 85 cents to my name, and then I realized, oh, wait, I have a check at the restaurant waiting for me, like, that I can pick up.
Okay.
That had, like, $300 or $400 on it, so I was like, okay. Like, I always, like, during college, I always, like, managed to have, like, a month's worth of rent.
Uh-huh.
Granted, if I lost my job, or I got sick, or whatever, I would have no food, no anything to pay.
You'd have to immediately just, like, move back with your parents and, like, leave everything and, like...
I probably would borrow money, because I always lend money to, like, Isaac all the time and stuff, and he would help me. Probably. I would just figure it out. Like, I would, like, I'll figure it out.
That is so terrifying to me.
And it's exciting. It was exciting, kind of. Like, I'll just figure it out. Like, it always works out. Like, somehow it always works out. I don't know how, but it does. And now, like, as I'm older, I'm like, Marika, like, that's fine in your 20s, okay? But now you're, like, fucking 31, and you don't have, like, a savings? What? Well, I have a savings account, but before I was, like, not trying to save. I'm like, you're stupid.
Right, because in my mindset, like, savings is how you do anything. It's like how you go on, it's how you go on a trip. It's how you buy something that's like a few $100s. Like,
yeah, like going on a trip, I would have a goal. Like, that's my goal. Like, when I went to Ireland and Scotland, like, I was saving up money for that.
Okay.
But I didn't think I was also, like, kind of unemployed at that time too. So it was really tough. And Adam, like, paid for a lot of shit.
Wait, how do you save money when you're unemployed?
Well, I was, like, not fully unemployed. I was, like, working at my dad's bar and getting an unemployment check. But, like, for some reason, I should have never really gone, probably. Because I was just, like, constantly, like, worried about, like, do I have enough money? And I'm in a foreign country, like, fuck. But luckily, I had Adam there to, like, back me up and stuff. So, yeah, like, now I'm just, like, let's put 20% of your check into the savings account now. Yeah! And so that's been working so far. There have been scary points where I have, like, 0 in my checking, or, like, close to that. Mm-hmm. And I want to transfer over, but it hasn't come to that yet. I just use credit. Or cash.
Credit.
Well, my credit's, like, the amount of debt that I owe is not that bad. Not minus student loans, not including that.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of credit cards that I probably...
you have to pause after the cough. What am I supposed to do with this thing? How am I supposed to cut around that?
Just leave it there? Why can't you just leave it there? What happens if you leave it there?
Then our whole podcast is like, so, I was, the whole podcast. What were you saying?
Okay. Oh, the amount of, like, credit cards I owe, it's not that much.
What's not that much? Like a few thousand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2,500 at the most.
Yeah.
If that.
It feels scary to me. I've never had debt to a credit card.
Oh, really? You just paid off, like, right away?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Every single time. Yeah.
When I was unemployed, I didn't do that. I mean, I can't do that now. Because now I want to, like, build up savings and then start doing that, maybe. Taking 20% of my check and putting that towards my debt or whatever and, like, paying that off.
That's what they say you're supposed to do. Is, like, you're supposed to build up maybe, like, a few months rent in savings, then attack the credit card.
But I have, I have a tendency to, like, hoard money like a European person, like an Eastern European person or European, like, old person. Like, let me just, like, stash money in my room.
Oh, you stash cash?
Yeah, but I'm sorry, it's not even stashing cash. It's, like, out in the open on my shelf.
But it's crumpled?
It's not crumpled, it's, like, laid out flat. But in a pile. Of course, it's me. Miles?
Yeah, for me, basically, I grew up with my mom always trying to convince us that we didn't have money. Mm-hmm. And I still don't know what the truth was. Okay. I think sometimes we didn't and sometimes we did. Like, I know that, like, my dad, like, was not doing very well when my parents were together in, like, the early 90s. So, like, I don't think we had a lot of money.
Oh, really? Because I felt the opposite as a kid. For your family. Like.
Well, yeah, it was very confusing to me because I was like, well, we live in this giant-ass house with this giant-ass lawn, but all came from my mom's inheritance money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So as far as, like, day-to-day, what was coming in, like, my mom would, like, put us on, like free and reduced lunch and shit. So it was, like, very confusing. She was always trying to convince, like, we had no money. Okay. Even when she married my stepdad and he was making, like, $100,000 a year, my mom still could make it sound like that was nothing. She'd be like, well, when you think about the taxes and how he has his own 3 sons, and then there's you guys, and then the college fund, and then the it's nothing. Like, she would always, it didn't matter how much was there. Like, it was never enough.
Okay.
So, like, it was very confusing, and then it got weird because my mom was, like, suing my dad in high school, and, like, if I ever did anything, like, any activities, like, sports, where, you know, sports you have to get, like, pay for there's all this fees.
Doctors
and,
the uniform fee.
And, like, she would try to split that between her and my dad. But my dad had, like, no money, so I was always like, well, I don't want to do anything that makes my dad have to pay any money. Like, I would always, like, try to argue and try to get her to pay everything.
Yeah.
So it, like, made me very, like, weird about...
Because you saw your dad really struggle financially, or, like...
I didn't, like, see it. Again, nobody ever explained anything to me, but, like, we had one meeting about it once, like, after my parents were divorced, where we, like, went to his apartment with my mom and, like, talked about something. I don't know if he had to borrow money from her. I don't know. He was basically like, I'll never retire, or she... It was, like, very weird. It was just, like, extremely confusing, basically.
Right.
So I think that's, like, that translated to me where I was, like, because I didn't want to burden my dad with anything, it's, like, then that just became... I never wanted to borrow money from anybody.
Yeah.
Even I remember when in my early 20s, like, people at my work would, like, try to do, like, things for me or nice things for me, and I would always be like, no. Like, I don't want to blend. I don't want to owe anyone anything. I don't want to burden anyone. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like, money became about security. So I always wanted to have, like, the more savings I had, the more secure I felt.
Okay.
And, like, to go down to have no savings to me was like, you're extremely insecure, basically. Like, you have no... I don't know how else to say it besides security.
Self-respect?
No, not respect. Like, it basically... Not that I thought I was going to end up on the street, but basically, like, the less money I had, the more in danger I felt. I guess in danger is the right way.
I like that danger.
So, like, when I was living in Chicago and I was unemployed, after I got out of college, before I started working at the hair salon, every month my, like, account was, like, shrinking. I don't know. It just, like, made me really nervous and, like, depressed and, like... I would just, like, lie around, and I, like, wouldn't apply to jobs for, like, weeks because I was, like, so discouraged, and, like, meanwhile I was running out of money. It was just, like, I did not feel, like, in a good place.
Like
I didn't feel safe.
Sounds like.
But I couldn't be like you, Mariko, where I'm just, like, screenshotting my 76 cents. I could never.
Really? I don't know why I had, like, a sense of, like, a little bit of pride at this, because I was, like, proud that I was not in red at this point.
But what would have happened if you went into red?
I don't know, like, I would try
you get fees and then fees and then fees on top of fees, and then you owe thousands, and then you go to jail?
No.
Like, that's in my mindset what would happen.
Oh my god.
You'd be like,
Whoa.
My friend got taken to jail in handcuffs in college for not paying parking tickets. In handcuffs. They went into his apartment, handcuffed him, took him to jail.
Why?
I don't know. Savannah, Georgia.
If I did go in red, I would be obviously, like, kind of freaking out and panicking, but then I would, like, pray to the gods that, like, no other transaction would be processing. I don't know, ask for money, or, like, just pray for, like, tips at, like, my next shift, and, like, just immediately to deposit money. So, like, that would be it. I mean, I don't know, it just works out, and I'm like, nah, I freak out, but I just, like, let it ride out, and, like, Miles is, like, super nervous about it.
I just, like, I could never, like, I would feel just, like, in
Your
danger.
brother's, like, very different about money. He's very, like, budget, you know, like...
Oh, yeah.
And he's also a saver too, but in a very different way.
Yeah, he's way more regimented, systematized. He's like, I have $70 to spend this month. Or he'll be like, I have no more money to spend this month, so I'll wait till next month. And I'm like, but I also,
and then
like...
he has to sit and pay himself back.
He also, like, he makes way less than me, so he has to think about it way more. I thought about it a little bit more when I was, like, in AmeriCorps, and I was literally making $820 a month.
But don't you have, like, stipends for rent?
No. When you're in AmeriCorps, you are on food stamps, so your food is essentially free from the grocery store.
Right.
And your health insurance is free.
Okay.
And if you have student loans, they're frozen.
Okay.
But, so, basically, my rent was $500 a month. But I had $315 to play with.
Okay.
Which for me, because I'm a cheapskate, was fine.
Right.
So.
And then
also having no friends helps.
Yeah, Minneapolis.
Because I wasn't going out to eat at all. Because I had no friends. Yeah, then I was like, I watched it a little bit more closely, but still not super closely, because I was like, I like, I was like, I know I can work within this. I don't have to, like, categorize things. And then my other thing, basically, spending money does not make me happy.
Oh,
That's why I asked you about it. I have buyer's remorse every single time. Why? Usually every single time. If it's food, I don't, because I'm like, I need that to live. But if it's, like, something that I deem frivolous, like clothing... Every time. I'm like, did I need that? Should I have bought that? Did I think enough about that? And then it goes away after like a day.
A day?
Yeah.
You guys, a day. Okay, like, why do you have this buyer's remorse?
The whole day I'll be like, that was stupid, that was dumb.
No!
And then the next day it's like, usually okay.
What?
Yeah. Because in my mind, with my... I think I can figure out where it comes from. Because my savings account is tied to security and making me feel more secure. Mm-hmm. So I'm basically making it a little bit less secure by spending it on something frivolous. And I'm like, that's getting in the way of it climbing up. Like,
okay, so you're using your savings to buy the things that you probably need or like, okay, / want, like clothes. Like, it's not in your checking budget, or... kind of confused by that.
No, I mean, even if it's coming out... to me, checking and savings account are, like, basically the same. You just get a higher rate of interest from your bank on savings. Sure. But that rate is still really, really, really low.
You're right,
It's like 0.0, whatever.
Yeah.
Or I think it's, like, with my bank, it's, like, 1% or something. Mm-hmm. So, to me, they're basically the same. I just, like, to put stuff in savings. So I'm like, ooh, I have this much in savings. Feels so good. So...
God.
When I spend even checking, I'm just like, I didn't need to spend that money.
Okay, so, like, when you...
Even going out tonight after this, I'm thinking about how can I spend, like, max $10 tonight.
But see, like, with, like, your brother, like, that's, like, a game to him. Like, he's like, oh, I that's what I'm interpreting as. Like, sorry, Zachary, like, if I'm interpreting this wrong. But it's just like, oh, like, how much can I get away with? But you're just taking it as, like, this negative thing, which, like, no offense, but, like, you deserve to live free and live your best life. This makes a lot more sense of why
are you learning things now?
Yeah, because I had no idea that you had so much guilt about it. And I think, like, you should be proud of yourself that you have this salary where you can, like, go out and have the finer things of life. Because when you're fucking dying on your deathbed, like, you're gonna have, like, all this money and, like, what's going to happen to it? Like, you're not going to benefit from all that hard work that you did to gain that money. And
no, I don't want to just, like, obviously when I'm dying on my death couch, like, let's be real, it's going to be a couch. I don't...
Okay, you're gonna read that.
I'm not just going to, like, revel in the money I have. It's not about that. It's not about, like, Scrooge McDucking it and being like, I'm going to swim through my piles of gold.
I know, but...
It's like... am I going to want to buy different property in the future, and I'm going to probably have savings around for that, or could I be paying off my mortgage faster, or, like, do I want to take, like, a vacation to Asia, which is going to be very expensive, or, like, what are the long-term things that this money can really work towards, rather than just, like, going out to lunch and forgetting about it a week later.
Oh, I'm sorry. Right.
But also, I do love that sweet, sweet savings account money. So I'm not going to lie about that. I love it when it's like, ooh, you have $10,000, which I don't anymore. But that, like, feels so good and, like, secure.
So, I mean, I feel like you kind of, like, take it to the extreme a little bit, especially when it comes to, like, going out to dinner, like, once in a while would be, like, nice for you. Like, not, obviously, come on, like, every day is not healthy for anybody.
Right.
Me. Okay? I shouldn't be doing that. I do for lunch all the time. I was trying to work on it, but now I'm not, and I just trying to, like, let me just take this money and put it in my savings, and then if I run out of my checking, I'm like, well, you gotta go buy your lunch, Marika, with credit. Good luck. And meaning I had to buy my lunch with credit, I have to go to Jewel and buy lunch meat and make sandwiches.
Right.
So there you go. See? That's how I'm, like, living now.
How does that feel?
Great.
It does?
It really does, because I feel really, like, accomplished, even though I don't have that much yet. But I'm really proud of myself that I'm not transferring money from my savings to checking anymore. And I'm actually, like, building my savings. And I'm like, yes, this is what we're talking about. Like, you gotta just put it away. Just every time you get a check, like, just put that money away. And it's, like, for me, out of sight, out of mind. I don't think about it. Like, yeah.
That's, like, positive.
Isn't it? I love it.
You guys were getting better. I've seriously gotten better.
Miles has gotten so much better, you guys.
Yeah, I was used to
probably because
so
your
cheap.
salary's higher.
Yeah, so that's part of it, but also, like, I recognize that, like, my cheapness doesn't always make sense. Like, I was way cheaper in college, so I've been trying to work on it, too, where I'm like, you should feel less guilty about this stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I recognize what's happening. So.
Oh, good. Oh, well, obviously, because you told me.
Right, yeah.
How do you feel about, lending money to friends or family?
I haven't had to lend money to people in a long time, and I hope to never again. Yeah, it was really more of like an early 20s, college, slightly after college thing. Mm-hmm.
What
where
was
I was at 2 different times owed over $700.
Whoa.
Uh-huh. That's right, world.
That even hurts my heart a little bit, okay?
Yeah, and like, obviously I'm going to help out people, friends, roommates in trouble, but like, I think what I would get really annoyed about is like, then I would have to hound those people for the money. Mm-hmm. Like, one time, my roommate in college, like, she just never... it was something insane where, like, it was her job to pay the electricity bill or something, and she just, like, never did. Because she thought... Because I think they never sent us a bill or some shit, but basically it was her thing to figure out. So then we owed them all these late charges, and of course nobody had the money except me. So I had to cover, like, this $700 thing. And, like... 2 months went by, and I was like, when am I gonna get the money that you owe me? Like, I had to every week be like, where's that money? Where's that money? And I was like, are you just planning on never paying me back and taking advantage of me?
Mm-hmm. Wow,
that's how it feels. Like, people are trying to take advantage of you.
This is a flashback that I forgot. But when it comes to money and friends, like, for me, with Isaac, like, I would always lend him money all the time. Mm-hmm. And he would just pay me back in other ways, like, either, like, cook me dinner... or something like that, or just do something for me or help me with, like, schoolwork, or, like, he would somehow pay me back, and I didn't keep track. And I still kind of don't keep track, like, like, which is terrible sometimes, but I'm sure, like, people, like, owe me money. Like, I'm sure Zachary DeVoe, I know, owes me money for electricity. He never paid me anything, and I'm like, I just don't want to deal with him, because I'm like, I don't care.
I just, like...
I really don't care.
It's not your job... as somebody lending somebody else money, you should keep track, but it's really their job to keep track.
Right.
And, like, the idea, like, to me, the audacity of borrowing money from somebody and not keeping track of who and how much and when and not giving them updates on how you're going to pay them back is, like, basically, like, they stole money from you is how it feels to me.
Oh, ouch. Do I owe you money?
No, but that's how it feels. Because to me, again, I'm like, money is something that you worked hard for. Yeah. You worked at the restaurant for that money. Yeah. You put in the hours, and then someone's just going to get that for free? Benefit from the fruits of your labor?
Maybe.
No.
I just, like, don't like the confrontation, and I just didn't want to deal with Zachary DeVoe because he was awful. Anyways, but, like... I'm just gonna, like, put this out there that I will forget that I owe you money. So if you would just remind me and make me Venmo you at that moment.
You're gonna get all these Venmo requests after this episode comes out.
Just remind me, Miles, because I forget. Unless it's, like, an outrageous amount, which hopefully will never
You don't owe me money. You don't owe me money.
I know, but, like, I'm just saying the future.
We're in our 30s and I'm never going to lend my friends money ever again because
what if I'm dying or have a huge hospital bill or I'm stranded?
Well, good thing you have parents.
Okay. But No.
Obviously, if you, like, fell out of a plane in Australia and had all these medical bills, like, sure, we'd set up some sort of GoFundMe for you and I would throw some money in that, but...
Oh, okay. So it would be a donation so I would not have to pay you back.
Yes, but it would be like other people would be donating too.
Right, okay. Oh my god. What about, romantic, like boyfriend?
I remember when I was in AmeriCorps, I was dating my first long-term boyfriend. His family had money.
Yeah.
I'm always like, I think.
What does that mean exactly? Like, how do you know that?
They lived in like a high-rise condo in a rich neighborhood of Atlanta.
Okay.
I get a little, I shouldn't care and I shouldn't get annoyed. But in that relationship, he never had any money. He didn't care about it. He was working a part-time job. He never cared about working full-time or really having any money. And I was like, do you want to go to Montreal with me? And he was like, I can't afford it. And I was like, so this is our relationship? We can never take a trip together because you don't give a shit about money? Like, that was one of the reasons why... I mean, I broke up with him because I felt, at least at the time, that he didn't have a lot of ambition. And I think the money thing was part of it.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not striving for anything more. Ugh. And I'm on the track to the stars. But
and look at you.
Then, like, later, he's, like, married now and, like, turns around and they, like, buy a house. And I don't know where that money came from, but it might have come from his family. I don't know. And, like, that shouldn't annoy me, but something about it does. Because he never worked hard to save the money to buy the place. It was just handed to him.
Oh.
I don't know if that's true. There's a few situations like that with a few, like, friends of mine where I am kind of annoyed, where I'm like, I worked hard. And, like, yes, I do have, full disclosure, I have, like, a trust fund from my great uncle Johnny and blah, blah, blah.
Miles is rich, you guys. He tries to, like, keep it like he's not rich.
No, I mean, like, that's what paid for my college and stuff, and, like, not a lot of that money's left because I went to an expensive college, and yes, I don't have student loans, so, like, good for me or whatever.
Good for you.
But, like, when I bought, I never, my mom was, whenever, I always wanted to do it on my own when I was in my 20s. My mom was always like, do you need money from, like, that account? And I was like, no, I want to do it on my own. And even with this condo, I bought it on my own. I bought it with money I saved. Because I never wanted to be, like, have it handed to me.
You should put that trust money in, like, a Roth IRA or
it's just,
something.
like, sitting around. It's, like, in, like, an investment account that I never look at. And, like, I don't think...
It's an investment.
No, but I don't think they're doing a good job with it. Because it never grows. And sometimes it shrinks. And I'm like, what the fuck? But I just forget about it. I honestly feel like forget it exists. Oops. Because I, like, don't... I like saving, but I don't know anything about investing, and I don't do it.
Yeah, well, I started investing when I was, like, 18 in high school, because I worked since I was, like, fucking, like, 15, and I saved money, and I went to Spain, and then I used some of the other savings to, like, invest in whatever, a Roth IRA. But when I was in college, they stopped taking money out of that for some odd reason, because, I don't know, it was complicated, and they have to get my checking account number, and it was just, like, complicated and stupid, and then, obviously, 10 years go by, and I haven't invested any money into those investments at all, which is stupid. Okay, like, I lost so much money. Like,
well, you lost time.
I lost time, which I can't get back.
Yeah.
But now my parents changed with this new financial advisor, and they keep bugging me about talking to her and stuff, and I just, like, don't want to. I'd rather have her, like, come to me magically through my office and be like, hey, like, do you have time right now? I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, okay. Like, oh, and I magically have all your account information for your past investments. Like, I'm just going to transfer it over. I'm like, fantastic.
No.
Great.
Marika, I had to transfer my retirement account from my old job to this job, and, like, I had to call both people on the phone multiple times, and then I had to mail a check, get them to mail a check to me, and then I had to mail that check to Tennessee. It was not an easy process. And
my parents wonder why I don't want to do it.
But I did it while I was at work.
See?
So I was like, I'm not doing this on my own time. Okay. This is boring.
Well, there we go. So,
what did we learn?
I don't know. Oh, yeah. We, like, barely went through our topics.
That's what I said. Money. I knew we'd have a lot to talk about. Unless there's something that you still want to, that's good.
No. I really want to retire early, but I don't think that's going to fucking happen. And I probably won't, so whatever, it's fine.
I was in reference to that, I was like talking to my mom once when she's trying to give me dating advice, and it's always so funny because it's like so insane. And she's like, why don't you tell them that, you bought your own place and that you want to retire young?
Uh-huh.
I like laughed at her. I was like, I have never in my life said that I want to retire young. That's never something I've ever said. But in her mind, she's like created this fantasy for me that, because I'm like, Mom, that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, hey, gay man, I have a savings account and I want to retire young and hung. Are you into that? Like, in what world?
Hey, gay man? Oh.
In what world?
This is like what my dad sent me an email for like mother-daughter cruises.
Yeah, it's just like...
Do you think I want to hang out with her for like a whole week by myself?
Who's paying for it?
My dad would probably pay for it.
Ditch the mom, meet a man.
No, my mom would probably like cry.
So what did we learn from this money thing?
That we're growing. And our money's growing. There we go.
I think I learned that everyone has a different relationship to money.
Right.
And that it informs your decisions.
And I learned a lot about you. Like, I didn't realize you felt so guilty about that. Me and my best friend don't feel guilty. I don't think we do. We just love it. So, like, yes! Grubhub, Forever 21, Jeffree Star. Like, I'm waving my arms all around you guys.
Yeah.
So, no. Like, because we feel, I always feel like I deserve it. Constantly.
Maybe that's my thing.
I always sometimes...
I don't feel like I deserve it.
I, like, always justify it. You have to justify it. Mm-hmm. And then, But then sometimes I do feel guilty, but then I just eat the sushi anyways, so,
And I'm like, you didn't need that sushi, Miles. Okay, so we learned something. Now it's time to teach y'all. Questions. We have a question. Ooh. It is from Kevin, who was here last week on the pod. So he sent us his fail of the week, which we'll just read. His related fail of the week, parentheses, probably of the year. Monday, having slept only 3.5 hours the night before, I decided to push through and meet a friend. That didn't go well. I said something I shouldn't have, and we got in a pretty ugly argument. We both said pretty hurtful things and walked away without working things out. It's an understatement to say that I felt like crap since then. I kind of get it, because when I'm sleepy and crabby, I usually, that's why when I am crabby, which is kind of rare, I'm like, oh my God, I'm a monster. I'm so fucking mean.
I'm so mean.
I'm like, everything that people do is stupid.
Yep.
And they need to know it right now.
Even them breathing is dumb.
Yeah.
Stop breathing. Get out of here. Why are you in this room? Adam, go up. Adam has told me, you are so mean to me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, you're really mean. You're bitchy to me. I'm like, that's because I fell asleep on the couch and I'm just mad at myself that I fell asleep on the couch again and you're home and you want to talk to me again. I didn't tell him this, but you could just, when you're annoyed and angry at the other person in the room, it's just the two of you, you could just feel if they want to say something. There's a word on their fucking tongue and they're holding it and they want to talk to you and I'm like, get the fuck away from me, please. We came to the conclusion that I need to say hi if he says hi to me, and that should be the end of our conversation, because it's kind of rude to not do
to acknowledge someone.
Yeah, but no, I am so mean. So mean.
I wonder what that is. Why humans, when you're lacking sleep, you become mean. I wonder what that is.
I don't know what that is.
You have less patience, maybe? Maybe you have less patience, and that patience is what is creating
your
kindness.
Decisions are not
thought out
or anything like that.
Yeah, maybe you lack the mental space. Anyway, he sent us a question.
Okay.
Should you listen to your brain or your heart?
It depends on the situation.
I think most of the time, this is just me, I would say most of the time think with your head because that's a little bit more long term. But your heart is for the times when you have to figure out what you want. It's like, what do you want to major in? What do you want your job to be? What kind of person do you want to date? What do you like?
Those are all long-term things.
They are, but you need your heart on that. Your heart needs to tell you where's your passion. You can't just use your brain to be like, I'm going to major in this because it makes more money. Like, you have to be like, what do you feel?
Yeah. I feel like listen to your heart first, but then take your brain and think it in a more logical sense. And take your time before you make a rash emotional decision, because heart is with emotions. And
right.
So, like...
That's good advice.
Yeah. See? There you go, Kevin. I hope it works out with your friend. That really sucks.
Yeah.
If they're a good friend, or... No, I shouldn't
just apologize profusely.
You both should apologize, probably.
Successes of the week.
I'm starting my master's degree.
Really?
Yes.
When?
January 7th.
That's really soon.
It is.
Business?
Business specialization of marketing.
Ooh.
Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, you can work on the client side and I can be your creative and I can hate you.
And I'll just show up drunk, drinking martinis all day.
I mean, I never see the client. We just talk to them on the phone.
Okay.
But.
Yeah, so I'm not... So the admissions process I'm still doing because I'm a bad student. Anyways, already. So I found out that I have a financial hold on my transcripts. But luckily it's only $150. So I'm like, okay, whatever. I did a math assessment. I totally cheated. But whatever.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Interesting.
So this is mixture of success and a fail.
Right. It's a Marika style success.
Yeah, me. And I'm really I'm excited to tell my parents that this is happening.
Cool. I kind of think about two different successes, but okay. So quick mini success. I have talked about Korean a lot on this podcast, and how I don't study and and blah blah blah. But then we had our final class where you have a ceremony, and I've been to these ceremonies a lot before, and people get best attendance and stuff like that, and then one person gets the award of excellence, and they called my name and I got the award of excellence.
Oh my god, Miles! That's so exciting.
Literally my teacher said, she was Miles Johnson, and I was like, nope, not me. I was like, Susie deserves that. I didn't say that, but I was like, I don't, no.
Is there really a Susie in your class?
Yeah. Okay. I honestly think it's just because I emailed my teacher a lot. I would email her I found this video on pronunciation, and then I would ask her, be what's the difference between the words kibun and nukim, because they both mean feeling, and I think it was because I was asking.
Oh my god, that's so cute though.
Yeah.
That's so exciting.
I'm gonna put it in a folder and not do anything with it.
But keep it forever.
My other kind of successes, I've just been trying to be more honest, especially that story last week where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do what I want to do on Friday night. I'm gonna go karaoke instead of going to Boys Town or whatever. I'm not gonna try to.
Don't you do that already?
I'm gonna try to please people a little bit less.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah.
So last night I was editing the podcast, and I was also on Tinder, and I'm on the desktop Tinder, which I love because you can type on a full keyboard. Because I'm from that generation. And I was talking to this guy, and I thought he lived here, but then he was like, actually, I'm from Colombia. I'm just in town for a conference.
Oh.
The country of Colombia. And he's 43 and really hot. Oh. So then he was like, do you want to get coffee tomorrow? Mm-hmm. And I was like, sure. But then I was going to have to go to River North to get coffee, which I'm also going to try to go to Streeterville in an hour. And I was like, I don't want to go downtown twice.
No.
I don't want to go downtown twice. That sucks. It's snowing. And also, you're from Colombia, so what's the point of this date at all?
It's to fuck, Miles.
I know, but I was like, we have to do the podcast at 6:30, so there's no point to me going downtown at 4.
Yeah, no.
It just, none of it made sense, so I was like, I started to get ready, get my stuff on to go at 3:15, and I was like, what are you doing?
I want to go to this.
No, what am I doing? So I like messaged him on WhatsApp, which I had to download just to talk to him. I'm like, I'm just going to be completely honest. I was like, look, I'm on Tinder to look for long-term relationships, so I'm not going to meet you downtown. Like, I hope you enjoy your time in Chicago.
There we go.
And he was super nice. He was like, oh my gosh, makes sense. Like, thanks. Like, hope you enjoy your time too. Take care. And I was like, yes, yeah. Like, it was really...
That's so nice.
Yeah. He was pretty delicioso, but... Ooh. Anyway, that's our show.
That's our show, guys.
You can email us questions at idkpod@gmail.com.
Or our Instagram page at idkwhenimdoingpod.
Yep. So I'm going to go drink sake, and Marika's not for some reason.
Yeah, I'm going to drive home and watch Harry Potter again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye, babes.
Bye, babes.
I have a savings account and I want to retire young and hung. Are you into that?